Hey guys, welcome back to another podcast with Adrian B. Holmes. My name is Slavik Cholak, and today I'm alone in the studio, and I want to talk to you something about something that's been on my mind, or really something that I've been thinking about for the past couple of weeks, past couple of months, really trying to develop this so that I could relay it to you in the best way possible. And really, if you remember the very first podcast we ever spoke, I talked about how I believe that real estate is the number one way to transfer wealth from generation to generation, as well as for you to be able to sustain in finances and just to have, money that not just for now, but also for retirement, to build up your retirement. I think it's one of the safest ways to build up for retirement. Many people will disagree with me. I know there's life insurances policies that you can pull, 401ks, Roth IRAs, and all of that stuff that are good programs, good systems, good things that are in place. But I strongly believe that real estate is going to be one of the most sustainable ones, because if the dollar loses its value, your real estate will never lose value, because they're not making dirt anymore. Dirt is not getting developed. New dirt is not being made. The homes are still getting built, yes, but your location that you have that home on, you can't get another one right there. So therefore, your property will appreciate in value nonstop, while money, it depreciates. Gold, yes, it goes up in value, but at the same time with gold, the reason why it goes up in value is because the dollar loses its value. So the gold technically stays stable. It's just that the dollar is losing its rate. So a couple things that I really want to hit on in this podcast is how to build wealth over time, and wealth that is sustainable, because you want wealth that is going to pass on from generation to generation, or you want wealth that is actually going to that you'll be able to retire on. Like, for instance, the way we have designed our company, the way that we have designed everything that we're doing, is we're building up kind of like an empire where we're going to have 100 rental doors and under our company. And then on top of that, we're also going to have a couple of RV developments and a couple of commercial developments as well, that we are going to have prepared for retirement, as well as right now for us to be able to live off. Even though I'm full-blown going into in real estate, building homes, selling homes, because I do believe that home ownership is one of the most important things, and I believe that home ownership is something that everyone should have, that everyone should own a home, but not everyone can afford a home. Therefore, that is why we are building the rentals. But one of the most important things that I wanted to emphasize is that real estate is one of the most sustainable ways to grow your wealth. Let's look at a couple of companies, for example. Let's look at Starbucks. Starbucks is, everyone knows it as coffee, right? You hear Starbucks and it's like, oh yeah, it's coffee. I know coffee. Starbucks is actually not even a coffee company anymore. Starbucks became their own bank, but let's get away from that. Let's go into the real estate aspect of Starbucks. Starbucks has some of the most prime locations. They're located in some of the most prime areas of a city, and they have a lot of traffic. Why did Starbucks choose to do that? Because Starbucks is focusing on real estate instead of just selling a cup of coffee. Cup of coffee is just the way that they're moving money around, right? Where they're making their money to be able to purchase more real estate. But real estate is essentially who Starbucks is. Let's look at McDonald's. McDonald's is in every single prime location. I mean, any corner you go to in any town, any city, there's a McDonald's there. They don't care about those burgers. That's why they put so much junk in those things, because they don't care about them. That is just a money generator for them to be able to purchase more real estate, so that they would possess prime real estate, prime locations, and then they also have these amazing tax benefits that are granted to them by the government, which if a lot of poor people usually complain like, oh, why do the big companies don't have to pay taxes? Because they are investing and they're actually generating more money for the government. So therefore the government gives them more tax breaks. Now, when you start doing the same thing, you will start getting the same tax breaks. And a couple things that I'm going to talk to you about today is I'm going to help you change your mind on how you look at homes, how you look at a house, and how you look at a loan. Number one thing that I want to say, so a couple things that I do want to say. I say number one all the time, but a couple things that I want to say to you is there's two most important people in your partnership. Number one is your CPA. Who is your CPA is very, very important. If you're going to Hewlett Packard, I don't remember the name of the company. I think that's a printer company actually. But anyways, H&R Block or any of those companies, you're just going to a company that's entering numbers and sending it off. They're really not even helping you. They're not tax strategizing with you. They're not helping you with lowering your tax bill or anything like that. They're just entering numbers, sending it off. And then, so CPA is number one. Number two, most important person is your insurance agent that will be able to provide you the proper insurance for your property, and then also the proper insurance for your health insurance, because remember, life insurance. Because remember, you can pool money against or loan money against your insurance policy and then get paid interest on top of that. That's a whole different topic. I'm not touching on that today, but you need to look into that as well. And in a later podcast, I'll actually be talking about that as well. So real estate. Real estate also has one of the most tax advantages. It's the most tax advantaged is investment available. Because in real estate, whenever you're dealing with real estate, we have so many different categories. We have depreciation. We have just so much different things. Right now, we're doing cost segregation studies on some of our projects. And if your CPA doesn't know what that is, fire him or her. Get rid of them. Find someone that actually knows what they're doing. Get someone that actually is doing their job right. Because we went for 7 years with the wrong CPA, and we've been paying too much in taxes whenever the government has programs available for all of us to be able to take in and actually grow in real estate instead of just pay taxes. Because remember, you get penalized for things that when you make money, you get penalized for not investing that money. Whenever you invest your money, the government actually incentivizes that and gives you tax breaks. Start investing your money. In real estate, the government loves real estate, and that is why real estate is probably, I would say, one of the best tax incentivized investment opportunities that you can make. So when do I start investing? You're never too young and never too old to start investing in real estate. I had a question where a gentleman came up to me recently and he said, hey, so you always talk about you gotta buy real estate. Well, how am I supposed to buy? I already have a house loan. What am I supposed to do? So I am not an attorney, full disclosure. And everything that I'm saying, I'm just saying as a suggestion. You will need to talk with an attorney and you will need to talk with a CPA to be able to get this properly done, or a lender to get this properly done. But this is my recommendation for you. Let's say you have a loan. Your loan amount is $320,000. You have it at a very low interest rate when the market was in the bottom. It was not on the bottom, but at its peak, and interest rate was at its bottom, let's say 3%, right? So at 3%, $320,000 loan, your mortgage payment is probably right around $1,500 a month. So if your mortgage payment is $1,500 a month, you need to add another 25% on top of that, right? So 1,500 times 25%, I did have the math done, but I'm going to do it again. Puts it at another, I think it's $375. So if it's $375, you puts it at $1,875 a month is what you need to show that you are able to rent it out for. I think if you have a $1,500 loan and a $300,000 house, you're probably going to be able to rent it out for right around $2,000 a month. And if you're renting it out at $2,000 a month, that will cover your insurance and partial taxes. Remember, if you live in a state other than South Carolina, Georgia and Florida are very investor-friendly states. So they love investors where they give investors really big tax breaks on investment properties. South Carolina is not an investor-friendly state, and that's where we're in, South Carolina. And really, we get penalized for having, investment properties where instead of, a permanent resident would pay, let's say $4,000 a year in taxes or $3,000 a year in taxes. Well, we as an investor, we're going to pay about $8,000 a year in taxes for the same exact house. And that is why we started building duplexes, because you get taxed as one house, but you're getting a two-door rate on that house. But that's a completely different story on that. What we're talking about is your house that you have right now. So what you're going to do is you're going to leverage the home that you currently have, and you're going to rent it out for $2,000 a month. You're going to get a contract on it, and you're going to rent it out for $2,000 a month. You take that contract to a lender and say, and if you need a mortgage broker, reach out to me. I got one lady that will help you out as really well with this. I also have a couple of other brokers that could help, but one person in particular that I really trust on this and really knows their stuff and really can get this thing going for you. So you got the house rented out, and now you come to her and say, hey, I want to pull a loan and I want to buy another house, because you're trying to build wealth. You're not trying to be broke, and you're not trying to be poor like everyone else. You're trying to build wealth. And I'll tell you why we're doing this a little bit later. So you come to them, and I understand interest rate is right around 8% at the time that we speak, which is October 13th of 2023. So interest rate is right around, somewhere around 8% right now. But what we're going for is to build wealth. And what we're doing in this is we're purchasing a home, another home that will now expand our portfolio, not from just a one home that we have as a residence, which is now rented out, but another home that we just purchasing. And so now that we're purchasing the second home, we're going to make that our primary, whether that be a bigger home or a smaller home. And we're going to move all of our things, all of our address and everything to there. Let's pause for a second. We are purchasing the second home, and you're thinking, but Slavik, my first house is at 3% interest rate. Why would I go and buy another house at 8% interest rate? Well, here's why you're going to buy it. Because if interest rates go up, you're buying at the lowest possible at the moment. If interest rates go down, you can always refinance. Refinancing is going to cost you 2 points, which is, if it's a $200,000 loan, you're paying those 2 points against that, which is $4,000. That's what it's going to cost you. You're going to save that in the long run. But you are building generational wealth. You're building wealth for your family, for yourself, to be able to have something to live off of. The whole idea why I'm saying this and why I'm stressing about this or trying to express this to you so much is, you can purchase a new home once a year. And every time you can do this same exact system where you put somebody to rent into your current home that you have, and then go and purchase another one. Put someone to rent into that one, go purchase another one. Your goal, if you are, let's say you're 20 years old right now, by the time in 30 years, when some of your properties are going to be paid off, and let's say you only do this for 15 years, by the time your first property is paid off, you're retired. So now that home is completely paid off. Appreciation kicked in. You completely depreciated that house out, because on a home, you can depreciate it 27 to 39 years. You can depreciate a home. And then the rest of the tax stuff, that the incentives about cost segregation and all the rest of that stuff, bonus depreciations, we'll talk about that on a different podcast. But here, what we're trying to do is we're trying to build wealth. And the first home gets paid off and you're ready to retire, right? So now your second home gets paid off and you're there. Your first home you paid $300,000 for, let's say, right? In 20 years, that $300,000 home is now worth $500,000 or $600,000, because remember, they stopped making land. Land is not being developed anymore. They're not making new land. in that location where you have, especially if you bought it close to the city. The area has grown. Now there's city all around you, and you are dead center, a lot closer to where everything is happening. So that's what you're looking for, is that long-term hold is really what saves you. And then imagine this. Now let's go into a little imagination mode. So let's say you started this at 25, let's say 30 years old. You started this whole thing that I'm telling you about. And your goal is 15 homes. So within 15 years, you started at 30, at 45 years old, you have 15 homes. You're still working your day job. You're not getting rich off of this right now. You can, if you start flipping them and selling them and pulling money out and things like that. There are ways that you can get a couple extra spending dollars out of these houses. But your whole goal is to hold them. And if you hold them for long enough, when you hit 60 years old and you're ready to retire and you have 15 homes, let's say at the bottom of the market, each home is worth $300,000. Let's say each home is worth $300,000. First of all, you had somebody else pay off your house for you because you were renting it out. So that's one benefit. Number two, now you have all this equity in real estate that you didn't have to pay off, is paid off, and you have all this equity in it. 15 homes at the bottom of the market are worth $300,000 each. How much money do you have? That's what I said, the same thing. $4.5 million to retire with. I mean, is that not wealthy? And yeah, you kept your same job that you worked. That was what, $60,000, $70,000 a year. And if you made $50,000 a year, that's fine. What you did is you leveraged the home that you had, that you live in right now, and then you went to the next one, and then you went to the next one, and then you went to the next one. Because of the system that is developed, and you get incentivized by the government, you get incentivized, and you retired wealthy. So that is why I am so excited about this. That's why I'm so excited, and I preach this and I push this so hard on all of my friends. Actually, if you're my friend watching, we already talked about this. And if you're not my friend, ask anybody that really I surround myself with. And I always encourage everyone to get into this. It's never too late or never too early to get into real estate. Don't listen to people that are saying economy's gonna crash. And if it crashes, so what? You were broke now, you're gonna be broke then. Who cares? What do you have to lose? And then if things go up, you're gaining. You're actually becoming something significant. You know, look at Donald Trump, right? Great success. How many times did he file for bankruptcy? How many times did he fail? If you do not step out, you will never succeed. You have to step out in order to succeed. So, like I said, real estate is one of the most tax advantaged investments available. And while your property appreciates in value, you, the owner, I have a note here that says the owner typically receives a deduction on the wear and tear of the building. So that's a cost segregation, but we're going to talk about that in another podcast. And then another thing that I do want to mention is when you're going into your loan officer and you're talking to them, you bought a house that you live in now, and let's say you want to upgrade to a little bit bigger. You come to them and say, hey, we want to upsize. So that's why we're buying this next house. That's why we want to buy it. And then you got that one, you want to downsize now. So you buy downsize, and then you upsize and downsize, upsize and downsize. You do whatever you want to. However, whatever works for you, you do it. But please do not just sit in your house and be like, well, we don't have enough money to go purchase another house. Somebody else will pay your mortgage. Just get off your butt and actually do something, okay? You have no right to complain that, oh, well, must be nice to be you. Your daddy was rich, or must be nice to be you that you everything just happens for you. No, I wake up the same way that you do, and my feet hit the ground the same way you do. I think differently. I leverage other people's money differently than you do. And that is why I'm encouraging you. I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm encouraging you to get out of your comfort zone, step out, get things rolling, get things moving. I want you to be wealthy. Why do we have to have only Bill Gates wealthy and only some of the billionaires? We need you to be wealthy, because people like you are the ones that are actually going to be the ones that are in the community, in our community, that are going to contribute to our society, contribute to our local economy. Like, good for them that the BlackRock is multi-billion-dollar industry. Why not you start your own company and be Griffin Rock Industries and own all of whatever city you live in? I mean, hey, start thinking big. Get out of your little nutshell in your head and actually start thinking big, because there is millions of opportunities for you to make millions and billions of dollars. It's given to you. The government is incentivizing you for it. Get off your couch and start doing it. I'm not against people starting small little businesses either, but stop selling stupid stuff. Don't go and buy little bean bags with monograms on them. Like, who needs that junk? If I want a bean bag with something on it, I'm going to go to Lowe's, or not Lowe's, but Walmart, and buy some junk that's already developed. If you're going to produce a product, find something that people actually need. Don't set up these little stands. I was actually on Facebook one day, just scrolling through because I was bored. And one lady posted, she had a little booth, and she said, my product is such a beautiful product, but nobody's buying it. And on her booth was some kind of little glass, a cup thingy with some junk inside, a straw or something like that. And she was asking $25, $30 for it. Like, who in their right mind needs that junk? If you are going to start a business, start something that is actually needed. Low-income housing is needed. Get into that. I literally explained to you how to do it. You don't have to start with $300,000, $500,000 houses. Go into a bad neighborhood. Purchase a cheap home. Work your day job, 9 to 5 or 8 to 3 or whatever, 6 to 4, whatever it is. After work, go in and remodel it. Go repaint it yourself. Don't hire contractors. Go repaint it yourself. Go replace the toilets yourself. Go replace the vanities yourself. And pay yourself to do it. And how you're going to pay yourself? By the rent money that's going to be coming in. It's going to be making you wealthier. But you actually have to step out. You actually have to do something about it. Don't complain. You have no right to complain, because you hit your feet hit the floor the same way mine do every morning. But what you keep in your head and how you set your mind, that's the outcome that you are going to receive. Let me look through my notes, see what else I missed. In retirement, I'm going to go back to the retirement thing. If you have $4.5 million worth of property that you accumulated in retirement, you'll have 20 years to spend it all. So from 65 to 85 years, you'll have $4.5 million to spend, which is more than $200,000 a year. And why not retire at $200,000 a year? You can purchase yourself an RV, you can go cross country, you can have your old lady or your old man with you and go explore the world, go to the Grand Canyon and sit there, drink a nice coffee right at the edge of the cliff. I mean, have fun, enjoy life, whatever's left of it. But the thing is you didn't have to push. You had to push in the beginning, but you didn't have to work too hard, because what you were doing is you were using a system that the government set up for you to become wealthy. And then you were also using other people's money to create your own wealth. I hope this video helps you. I hope this video really boils your blood like it does mine. This kind of stuff excites me. When I see an opportunity to make money like this, I have a hard time sleeping. I went to sleep at 2 a.m. last night, and I woke up at 6:30 because I was like, we need to do this. And this whole morning, I was thinking about so many different opportunities and so many different things where I can flip money around and be able to generate wealth. And so can you. Don't get stuck in your mundane life. Don't get stuck in the things that are like, oh man, well, I'm only making a salary. I can't afford a second house. You don't have to afford a second house. You have to let someone else pay for your first house so that you could buy your second house. and then you let somebody else pay for your second house so you could buy your third house, and somebody else for the third so you could buy your fifth, and fifth for the sixth, 15th. By the time you'll get addicted to it so much that you're going to buy yourself a lake house and you'll keep purchasing properties. It's going to happen. And I know it's going to happen because you were created for something greater, and you are brilliant, and you are able to do this. Don't let anybody look down on you and be like, this only works for the rich. No, it doesn't. The system was created for everyone, and you are able to do it. That's it for today's podcast. We'll come back next episode. I really do want to talk about taxes and how to leverage this and how we'll be able to do deductions and everything else. I also want to talk about how to go from the employee status to a self-employed status or a business owner status where you don't have to pay so much in taxes in what you do. And again, I'm not a tax advisor. This is things that I learned, and I want you to succeed. I want you to be successful. That's all for today. God bless you. We'll see you next time. Like and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and we'll see you next time. God bless you. I'm gone.